Hello, everyone, once again. This is Rob, and welcome back to Media Awareness and another album review. We're going to be talking about the new Nad Sylvan album, Monumentata. However, before I get to that, a reminder the fundraiser continues. For those of you new to my channel or unaware, I am a disabled individual and I use a motorized wheelchair slash scooter all day, every day for my independence, and I need your help. My insurance will not cover anything with regard to my scooter as they view it as a quote luxury item end quote. Despite the fact that I'm unable to walk whatsoever, in addition to being unable to use any other type of scooter or power chair, or even a standard wheelchair for that matter, as I only have limited dexterity in one hand. In addition to that, I do not have a backup scooter or wheelchair to rely on at the current time. So if the scooter should malfunction, as it did a few months ago, I will yet again be a fish out of water, a scenario I want to avoid at all costs. With that stated, below the title of this video in the description below, as well as in a separate section below the information pertaining to this video itself, you will find a spot fund link. It is a fundraiser, it's easy to contribute, it takes a few seconds, and any and all help is welcome. I cannot stress that enough. Even $5 or $10 can make all the difference in the world, and you can even contribute anonymously. The purpose of the fundraiser is both to assist me with the ongoing refurbishing of my existing scooter, as well as to help me save for the purchase of a new scooter. I came up with these conclusions following the malfunction of my existing scooter a few months ago, as alluded to a moment ago, whereby the battery charging mechanism had failed entirely, and for roughly 2 weeks I needed to be pushed around my own home by family and friends in my scooter, severely limiting my independence. However, it was that long overdue wake up call that I needed a backup plan, and that backup plan is to have a brand new scooter to use moment to moment, day to day, every day, and my existing scooter from 2019 completely refurbished and ready to be used at a moment's notice whenever possible. It is now 2025, so let's just say that this scooter has seen better days, as have I, but we all grow old. With all of that stated, though, any and all help is welcome, as I mentioned, and I do want to extend a gracious thanks to those who have contributed thus far, in addition to those who plan on contributing, as your contributions have and will make a world of difference in my life. Thank you all. I love you all. If you're not yet subscribed to Media Awareness, my channel, please consider subscribing to my channel and becoming part of the Media Awareness family. I'd love to have you. Also, if you do subscribe, make sure to ring the bell icon, which will notify you whenever I upload something new to my channel, like this video. So, with all of that stated, I'm very privileged to be bringing you this review, and I love this album. This is the brand new Nad Sylvan album, Monumentata, and this is the front cover. I'll show you a close up of that. This is the back cover. Now, as you can tell, my copy of this particular CD um, has a crack on the back, which may or may not have been visible in that previous shot. However, the front, let me see if I can show you this again, uh, has some visible cracks you can see, and that is due to the Amazon delivery, I suppose, um, because this is how I got it. And fortunately, the pins on the inside that hold the CD in its casing, or the teeth as we call them, um, are intact, so I didn't have to complain to Amazon for a new copy. However, it does bother me that this case did come damaged. I'm going to show you the interior of this as well, but I just wanted to show you the exterior first. This is a standard jewel case, not a digipack or a mini LP sleeve, as we've been seeing a lot of these days. So I'm very happy with that. It's a lot sturdier, and I feel a lot safer handling this. So here you have the interior of the actual case itself, with the track listing on the back of the booklet, the CD on the other side, and I'm not going to pull out the booklet, but there is some photos in there of Nad's parents, um, and the lyrics, and of course the musicians who played on this album as well. And there are a slew of musicians that are beyond well known. I'm not about to go through all of them. All I can say is trust me on that, and the performances reflect their stature in the music industry. So now I'm going to be taking you through the track listing track by track and giving you my opinion on each track as I go through, from composition standpoint, production standpoint, all the usual things I do here on my channel. I do want to note this album, Monumentata, is currently available from Inside Out Music in your choice of formats: CD like this, vinyl, MP3, digital download, and to stream. It's basically in every format conceivable at this point in time. I do want to state that be wary of the shipping from Amazon and how this was handled. I'm not happy with them about this at all. You actually see the crack in the upper side on this, if I hold it at the right angle, but I'm trying to overlook that, even though it's not really working too well. Nevertheless, um, here we go with the tracks on Monument. We started the album out with the track called Secret Lover, and this was a really unexpected opener for me on this particular album. I've heard all of Nad's solo work, to my knowledge, in addition to some of his other projects, and Secret Lover was really a breath of fresh air for me in terms of his stylistic diversity. It really has an interesting upbeat guitar riff that basically starts out the song following a little intro um, with some ambient noise and a scream that fades in to this guitar riff. And it's a great, solid guitar riff with, say, a reasonable amount of compression on it to make it sound really, really solid. And I really like the sound of it a lot. Uh, the drums and bass and everything is mixed quite well. And I'll get into more of the specifics on the mixing and engineering on this album after I go through all the tracks. But I really, really do like the performances on this, the lyrics. It's great for an opening track. And one thing I do want to note is that um, with this track in general, you know this right off the bat that there are very little to no vocal effects being used on Nad's vocals on this particular track itself. I was just blown away by the raw nature of his vocals, and you don't hear that often on anyone's albums really these days. So it was interesting to me to hear that and experience that, and pretty much a running theme throughout the album itself to have very little to no vocal effects that are discernible. And it's a fresh sounding sound, if that makes sense, and it really uh, is pleasing to the ears as opposed to being somewhat off-putting. Definitely great track. We follow that up with, I believe, what was the first single from the album, That's Not Me. Um, and I really love this song. I really do. Uh, I remember doing a reaction video to this, which is on my channel, and you can definitely see my enthusiasm. And it's an edited reaction due to copyright, but it's definitely a track that has a lot going for it. It has great melodic changes, fantastic lyrics, and um, very intense and relatable uh, topical nature, in my opinion. We all have that portion of our lives in our lives where I feel that we could relate to certain lyrics, certain songs, and certain concepts. And one of those concepts on the song is That's Not Me. Um, and I really like the way it's presented. So moving on from there, we had track 3, which is Monte Carlo Priceless, which is a beautiful range song, beautiful ballad feel to it, um, with really moving, incredible lyrics. And one of the lyrics that really stood out to me is, and I found that so profound. And just this whole song is filled with lyrical phrasing like that. And it really is beautifully arranged, beautiful sounding. It is the perfect ballad, in my opinion. And I can't say enough good things about this song. I did a reaction to this as well. But the more I've listened to this song, the more I love it just entirely. It really has a great feel to it, a great, you know, slow groove to it. And it does pick up at certain points, but it sticks to the melodic structure and the pacing that it sets at the beginning fairly consistently, I'd say, throughout the track itself. Um, so that was Monte Carlo Priceless, track 3. Moving on from there, we have uh, track 4, which is Flowerland, and this one has a really solid tempo throughout. Um, it's it's really uh, grounds for a perfect pop song. Really, it's got some amazing lyrics, but I would say out of all the songs on this album, it's probably the most one of the most accessible songs on here. I think it really flows nicely though at that point in the album, taking you from the slower pace of Monte Carlo Priceless through a different segment and into a different section of the album itself. Then we have track 5, which is called Wildfire, and this has a mid to up tempo pace to it. Um, Really standout bass work on this song, and moving lyrics once again. Uh, and This song itself is one that also has a great synthesizer solo as well as a great guitar solo following that after another segment of the song itself. Track 6, which is Make Someone Proud. Make Somebody Proud. Sorry. And this one has a really funky groove to it, um, which sort of transitions into this progressive fusion type of piece, and has some really inspiring, moving lyrics as well that are nice to hear. So track 7, Stepping Out, um, has some really interesting musical choices in this one. It has a tango rhythm to it almost, and that was really unique to me. Great bass line with that as well. Um, and uh, I really found it to be musically interesting. Definitely some fantastic lyrics and incredible vocals on this as well. This is also, I think, believe the most current single from the album. And interestingly, with that said, this is a song that took the longest to grow on me. The whole album was really, really gelling with me, and then this song came on, and I thought, what is this? But now it's like an effortless flow, and I love it. And the single just came out a few days ago for this song to coincide with the release of the album itself. And I really, really like uh, the way the video is done. Definitely trust me on this one. Great song, great feel, and worth the definitely worth the listen. And it it grows on you. It really gets infectious, which is a good thing. It's not a bad infection. And then we have track 8, which is Monumentata, the title track. And this one is just beautiful. It has a real moving intro, and as you get into the song itself, you can almost transition through this emotional journey alongside Nad, where he's reflecting on, not really knowing his father um, prior to his father's passing. And it's an incredibly well done piece. The video is brilliant as well. I did do a reaction to that, albeit heavily edited. With that stated, though, this particular song really just it's emotional and it's moving and it contains some of the best vocal and musical performances on the album itself. And from there, we move on to track 9, which is, I suppose, the bonus track, and that's called Unkillable. And it's sort of just a fun um, you know, reflection of things may have occurred, but I'm gonna make the most of who I am and the moment and live for the moment. And that's the impression I got from it lyrically. The song itself has a fun feel to it, a lot more up tempo, and it's not my favorite song on the album, but it's definitely a nice little bonus on this particular edition of the album itself. So now I'm just going to touch on aspects of the production of the album and the overall recording of it, what it sounds like, and how it comes across to the listener. I mean, the performances throughout this album are all solid. There are no bad performances whatsoever. Vocally, it's some of Nad's best work ever, and I feel like lyrically as well, there's a lot to be said for the compositions on this album in in comparison to his previous work. I feel that this album is a lot more personal to for him, and at least that's how it comes across. And the performances accentuate that due to the intensity of the playing and the overall production itself, which is a fantastic production. Everything has its time to shine within the mix. It's all balanced out very well. It's not a stagnant production where everything is basically flat and you have the same volume of every instrument and vocal throughout the album. This has a lot of diversity in the mix in terms of the range and dynamic range of the album itself, and it really adds a lot to the overall presentation of Monumentata as a cohesive album, if I may say so. So, this is, of course, the new Nad Sylvan album. I first heard Nad, I've said this before in my reactions, but I've never actually done a review of one of his albums. And I first heard him uh, with, I believe, uh, one of his earlier solo singles just prior to the Steve Hackett Wolflight tour, which I attended. And I was fortunate enough to see that in downtown Wilkes-Barre, near where I live, at the FM Kirby Center. And first set, as most of you who are Steve Hackett fans know, contained a lot of his solo work, and the second set was the focus on Genesis material. And for that particular tour, Roy Instalt of the Flower Kings was playing bass guitar, and I'm a big fan of the Flower Kings, as those of you who watch my channel know. So I was excited to see Roy playing bass, but I was also really blown away by Nad Sylvan singing the Genesis classics. Um, in particular, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway just was a killer track for me. Cinema Show was another one that was performed that I feel really showed off the band, but it also really gave Nad a chance to show off his vocals and his vocal diversity uh, during that show itself. And that right there made me a fan. And I subsequently acquired the Vampire Trilogy, as it's known, as it was released with each consecutive release. And uh, I've just been following his career, um, his solo career, ever since I've been a fan. And this album, even if you have never heard Nad Sylvan, listen to this album. This is a fantastic album. It is easy to listen to. It's not a chore. It flows nicely and it's extremely accessible for any listener of even just pop rock music. Um, it doesn't have um, a lot of the, if you forgive the term, progressive rock cliches. It's more of a pop rock album with some progressive flourishes throughout. And that really makes this album unique and makes it a lot more accessible to a wider audience, in my opinion. And you should definitely check this out. It's available wherever music is sold. You can also access the Inside Out Music page itself, order direct from them. Maybe if you do, you won't receive a cracked copy like I did from Amazon. Or you can take the chance and order from Amazon and roll those dice and see what happens. It still bothers me that this case is cracked, but cases are replaceable. So I just have to get my hands on some uh, empty cases to transplant this. But this is an amazing album. Once again, Nad Sylvan Monumentata, and stay tuned to my channel. There'll be the top 20 countdown at the end of the year on New Year's Eve, and let's see if this album makes that countdown. It's very possible it will. Um, and with that foreshadowing, I will end off this video. So pick up your copy of Nad Sylvan Monumentata in your choice of formats: CD, vinyl, digital MP3 download, or stream it and then buy it. Your choice. I will see you all again soon. Have a wonderful morning, noon, or night wherever you are. Take care. Bye.